Mr. Spiller, if you can explain, when you say this is already a violation of federal law, that means an individual that's violating that law gets taken into a federal facility, prosecuted by federal entities, and that expense goes on the federal government. I want to talk about how Chairman Moody is trying to undo the burden on our local government here to prevent people from equally having to now run through the local system. And so when somebody gets arrested, how do you anticipate and how do you envision that we're going to make this determination of whether or not they are a proper or not proper alien? What do you envision the process to be? From the moment, let's say an officer sees Victoria standing on the side, what is your expectation for local law enforcement when they see her to make a determination whether she's a citizen or not a citizen?
Well, I think the same you would with any case. The law enforcement officer is going to have to make a determination that probable cause exists, that she has violated the statute, that she has violated the statute, for example, of illegal entry.
But how would you make that determination? How do we anticipate a law enforcement officer to make that determination? Do they look at skin color?
Many times, although it's not required in the bill, but many times they're going to observe it. They're going to see that happen. And so
you say they're going to observe the illegal entry.
If they could, yes. Many times you're going to have many cases under this bill, if passed, where law enforcement, DPS, whoever, sees someone cross into our country illegally. It's not required that they see it, but I would say many instances are going to be based on personal observation. So you're going to have that.
But,
you could have it.
But we're not limiting it, because I heard you the other day in committee say basically 50 miles from the border.
Right.
So how are we going to make the determination if somebody who looks like Victoria is standing 10 miles from the border, how are we going to make the determination whether or not she crossed it illegally or not?
And I think the farther you get away from that scene, I think it's harder to prove. I would be the first to admit that. I think that law enforcement, if you're in, and I gave you the example the other day, if you're in Texarkana and you just come up on someone, law enforcement says, you know, there's somebody, I wonder if whatever. Well, wondering if someone's in violation is not the same thing as having probable cause or reasonable suspicion to stop. So I think that I think it's more difficult. But Vice Chair
Gonzalez lives on the border, right? So how do we make the determination if an officer just sees her walking near the border, how are they going to make the determination whether or not she legally crossed? Let's say Mary and I are walking together near the border.
Right.
Are they going to look at her skin color versus mine and make a determination, surely she needs to be investigated for potentially crossing?
Well, I think clearly the officers are going to make, they're going to look at the entirety.
And this is not funny because my wife is Hispanic. And there is a difference when I am driving a car, I see an officer and I wave. There is a difference for people. Right. Chairman Wally said it. We don't live in their skin.
Right.
And this is highlighting how do we even start the process to make the determination? Because you're not saying, there's not a portion in this bill that says, if I see you cross the border,
it doesn't.
It's I get to investigate whether or not I think you crossed the border.
Right.